back with another Destiny 2 video. And so I was going to do one that just kind of went over the entirety of the Ikora Raid Journal from the Collector's Edition. For those of you who don't know, everyone just got their, well, not everyone, but a lot of people just got their Collector's Edition shipped to them. Inside that is a bunch of collector's stuff, a Hive Ghost statue, but most importantly for our purposes, a Ikora Raid Journal where it's not all written by Ikora Raid. I think it's supposed to be like a hidden report or something from one of her spies, but it's kind of a compilation of Ikora focused stuff, which features a lot of different characters and different reports. It's probably like the most lore packed into one place that we've seen in like the entire year, because when we get lore in the game, it's like a page or two, you know, in the back end or something, or some lines of dialogue. But this is like a literal book of like, I don't know, 35, 40 pages full of stuff. So there's a lot to go through. I think I'm going to break this up into pieces. I think Bife is probably going to do a much better video about this at some point, but I wanted to focus on one thing that really stood out to me that I've been kind of joking about today. I know some people consider collector's edition stuff spoilers. Like, I guess it's only spoilers if you have bought the collector's edition yourself and are like waiting to read the thing yourself. The stuff I'm talking about here is not spoiling anything for Witch Queen. They're not going to include like Witch Queen spoilers in this kind of thing, but I think it does have some big ramifications for kind of future events in the game, and then there's just a lot of different things that I think can kind of be delved into more. But what I'm going to talk about today is just kind of on the fun side, although I do hope it manifests itself in the game. I'm going to talk about an interaction between Zavala and Ikora regarding Caiatl. So this starts, I'm just going to read it here. I'll put it up on the page. These are screens that someone took a photo of the actual book that they got. And this is a letter from Caiatl to Ikora. This is by the mind of Empress Caiatl, written in proxy by her scribe. May the water of the Y goblet wash this message clean of falsehood, each and every word in service to the people and the future of the Cabal. It begins. To the Spymaster and Biomvir of the human city, Ikora Ray, the Empress Caiatl demands that you reveal all that you know about the current status of the deposed Callus. Be thou now informed that the deposed Callus is wanted for high imperial crimes, including the genocide of the Clips people, perversion of the imperial throne for the solicitation of unnatural bribes and favors, and traffic with powers most attained. Be thou further informed that any collaboration with the deposed Callus, either covert or overt, shall be grounds for the greatest displeasure of the Empress. It ends. So for those of you who don't remember, Callus is Caiatl's father. And he has currently disappeared with Leviathan, and then we were seeing kind of traces of him and his Darkness project aboard the Glycon. There's some other sections just about the Glycon in here and kind of communing with the Darkness, but this is just Caiatl writing to us to say we better tell her anything we know about Callus and his location. So then we go into an encrypted personal message chain between Ikora and Zavala. So this is Ikora. What do you think? She wants to know if we found Callus aboard the Glycon Velatus. Zavala. Certainly. She wants us to know that we're not negotiating with her father behind her back, which we're not. Are we? Ikora. I can't speak for every one of our guardians who experienced the entertainments aboard the Leviathan, but my hidden have absolutely no formal contact with Callus. I'm going to reply bluntly. Zavala. That seems wise. Are you aware of the religious significance of the Y goblet? It means this scion is part of a spiritual minority. Remarkable to see the phrase used openly by a scribe the Empress clearly trusts. Ikora. Has someone been gifting you Cabal religious histories? And why does she call me Biomvir? Zavala. Because you're one of the two most powerful people in our government, Ikora. Ikora. I'm relieved I didn't think of that. I don't feel much like a ruler. Guardians only listen to me if they feel like it. Have you considered a state marriage to Caiatl to solidify our alliance? Zavala. Have you? I love this so much. Okay, so I've had like a long running theory kind of joke that the latest hot Destiny pairing would be Zavala and Caiatl. I posted about this, and everyone kind of went through all the dialogue of the strike from Season of the Chosen, and it's really funny because like you can read that whole strike is pretty much like an elaborate like flirtation innuendo session between Zavala and Caiatl. I'd say it's mostly on her end. Like she seems like pretty into Zavala and like I mean like she respects him as a warrior and whatever, but like you kind of get those like she's into him vibes, which is very funny. And yet like not entirely out of the question. So this is actually said out right now that as Ikora wonders if Zavala should marry Caiatl in order to cement the alliance that we have with the Cabal. A state marriage is just like they're married for the sake of the alliance as like a symbol, not like they're gonna start like a physical relationship, which is what many of the jokes were made on Twitter about this. And then Zavala kind of shoots back like if maybe Ikora should marry her. I don't know if Zavala is super keen on that idea, but I just thought this was a pretty funny acknowledgement of this happening. I also think Caiatl's pretty relevant, and like all of this is sort of relevant to this upcoming season because it seems pretty clear that the season attached to Witch Queen is going to be Caiatl focused. We have seen the armor sets in the new trailers for the season, and they have like tusks and stuff and like Cabal symbols and things. So it seems that this season is going to be related to Caiatl again. Last time we checked on Caiatl, we had sent Crow actually to like hang out with her and I don't know, talk to her and stuff. So it's possible that might be kind of his next part of the storyline too. I would be sad if there was no Zavala involvement in the Caiatl storyline for the reasons I've just mentioned. And I do think that kind of the pursuit of Callus, trying to find where Callus is going to be kind of a major part of maybe not just the season, but this whole year, because I think we are leading toward, we're going to do the whole Witch Queen thing, Savathun and everything, but we're leading toward Lightfall. And I think this is going to be a very darkness focused season. And I think Callus's communion with the darkness and him kind of being directly involved with like the voice in the darkness, this kind of figure behind everything is important. So I think this is how Caiatl is going to be used in year 2 as we kind of try and figure out what happened to Callus and Leviathan and all of that. Whether this involves a marriage between Zavala and Caiatl is another question entirely, I suppose. Could have season of the wedding bells, and the holiday event could just be the wedding of Zavala and Caiatl, which I would find hilarious and kind of awesome. I don't know, like the. You don't really see pairings like that too often in at least mainstream fiction. Fan fiction is, of course, another story. But I don't know if this will go beyond like a little teaser here, but I very much think the writers are kind of like hinting at like some sort of cross species like attraction between Caiatl and Zavala, which I find very funny. I guess I'll just conclude with the actual response that Ikora sent back to Caiatl. It says, "By the mind of Ikora Ray, who needs no proxy, may this message find the Y Goblet full, each and every word in service to the people and future of the city." It begins. "We know nothing of Callus's fate. We have no interest in pursuing contact with him, nor have we ever sought formal relations with his court. Guardians who seek his patronage do so without the approval of the tower." So that's like referencing us doing the raids and things, but it's also, I forget his name, but like the guardian that was essentially like working for Callus on the Glycon that ended up getting like harvested for light and like strung up and all the things. The guy with Dead Man's Tail. He was just kind of like a servant of Callus on his own, essentially. This information is offered freely as thanks for the Empress's assistance during recent crises, but if we do become aware of Callus's disposition, we will not share this information unconditionally. We require that the Empress provide concession or information of like value in exchange for access to our intelligence. It ends. So that's like the last real Caiatl thing here, but I very much do think that we are heading toward a Caiatl based season attached to this. Bungie has said that the season is going to be different this time around. Like they understand how kind of disconnected and not as good Undying and Hunt were, so I think they're going to make this one a little more involved than what we've seen. And then in addition to the Caiatl armor and stuff, we know that the Grand Overture, the giant kind of arc cannon thing that is essentially a Colossus arc cannon, is going to be the battle pass weapon, I believe, and something we get from having the season pass. Either it's in the battle pass or it's going to be a quest based on that season. So we'll see. I am hoping for more good Caiatl and Zavala interaction in this coming season. I do imagine Crow will be involved in this, but I would not be opposed to them like truly running with this and like actually actually going down this road with the state marriage between the two of them and have that be like, I don't know, an in-game event or something. That would be kind of awesome, but we'll see if that actually manifests. This is probably like the funny thing that jumped out at me again in the diary here, the journal, but there's a lot of other stuff that's like more serious. Some highlights. They talk about kind of like the morality of ghosts and like how ghosts are pity the hive that they think have been corrupted by the darkness. And there's kind of an implication that they might just choose to revive the hive, like they might not being like mind controlled by Savathun or something. There's talk of like a grand kind of overarching wielder of darkness that I think we've always been building toward, a kind of big unnamed singular figure, like an Oryx type figure that is the darkness enemy. So there's more stuff to kind of parse out of this, and I'm going to have to do a longer video kind of encompassing some of these other aspects, but I really just wanted to talk about the Caiatl thing for now because I thought it was great, and I do think this is going to be somewhat immediately relevant when the season launches here, given that it's almost certain we're doing a Caiatl focused season to some extent. So anyway, true love wins, and